Welcome to the Candle Business Coach podcast. I'm your host, Kirsty Allen, the Candle Business Coach. I'm a mum of three, kindness advocator, and your go-to coach for building a thriving candle business. Welcome back to the podcast, my friend. Tonight we have another Candle Maker Connections episode for you. And on tonight's call, we've got the beautiful Tracy, the lovely Nicola, the amazing Gwen, and the darling Sue. And we'll be talking about email marketing, what tech we're using, how we're nurturing our list, how we're getting people on our email list, and why it's so important to have an email list in your arsenal when it comes to building your business. But first, I'll get the ladies to all introduce themselves and share a little bit about themselves, just in case if you haven't heard our Candle Maker Connections episodes before, you'll get a chance to get to know the ladies on the call. So who would like to go first?
Hello, I'm Sue. I have revamped Treasure Candles.
My name's Tracy from Bottlenose Candles.
I'm Nicola. Casa Lucia is the name of my business.
And I'm Gwen from Faith, Hope, Love Candles.
Thank you, everyone, for introducing yourself. I think tonight will be a lot of me sharing some knowledge and sharing some tips and tricks while the ladies on the call and the listeners on the podcast take down some notes and hopefully start to implement some of the tips that we shared tonight. My first question was going to be, who here has an email list? But I think I know the answer from most of you, but I do know that Sue does have an email list.
I have an email list. I've probably had it for about 3 years, but I'm really struggling to grow it. I don't sell online, so I'm just at market. So I've had a book at market asking people to leave their name in there if they want to get what I call a love letter, but I really do struggle to grow that list.
Can you not have like an email sign-up form on your website?
Yeah, I do. But because I don't sell online, probably people that go there to my webpage are looking for, which market is Sue going to be at? You know, what markets will she have these candles at? It's not so much for people just browsing candles online.
Got a small email list that has organically grown a little bit over the time frame. It's very hard to put it out there to get more people to subscribe and, doing the 10% off or whatever, but I've started putting like a business card in orders so that if they sign up, they get so much off the next order, just as an added incentive to sign up.
I guess my biggest query about not having an email list is, what am I going to email to my customers? I mean, do I have to write a blog? What is it that I would actually put in an email to customers?
Very valid question, and is one that I hear quite often from the many candle makers that I speak with. And it's one of those things where you feel like you need to reinvent the wheel and you don't. The content that you share on social media, whether it's a long caption post, whether it's a reel, whether it's talking about the latest blog that you have, if you've got a blog, not essential, especially when you first begin, because there's so many other things to focus on. What you're sharing in an email, whether you send it weekly, fortnightly, or monthly, that will depend on what you actually share. So the way I like to approach an email list is that you're thinking long term. You have the idea or you have the impression that you're going to have people on your list and they're going to stay with you for a long time. Now, obviously, not everyone is going to stay for a long time, but you want to build up that connection. You want to build up that familiarity with you and the person at the other end of the email. So I don't know how you guys go with your emails list, but I'm very much inbox zero, and anything that I allow into my inbox is going to be read because I'm not overwhelmed with lots of emails. But again, not everyone does that. So you need to think about how your email subscriber, how your potential customer and actual customers are going to respond to your emails. If they are predictable, then they may not necessarily be opened. If they have discounts every now and then, they may wait till you've got a sale before purchasing. So there's a couple of different things to think about, but what I want you to think about to begin with when you're considering starting an email list or growing your email list is, of course, how you're going to add value to the person who's reading the email. It's not just, I'm going to tell them that I've got a candle for sale or that this one's discounted. You want to consider, how is this going to add value to the person reading the email? So with that said, I'm going to throw it out to all of you. How do you think you can add value to your email list?
As I said, I don't sell online. I just do the market. So initially I set up my email list for the people that weren't on social media. So I was trying to connect with the people that didn't see my posts on social media. So sometime when I am doing up my monthly love letters, I will offer them something. Maybe it is a discount, but I don't do that all the time. But it can be I will include a link to my blog on how to care for their candles, how to clean their candle jars out so they can reuse them. I have lots of little bits of tricks and tips that I add to the email, as well as I said, the link to my blog and maybe a new scent that I have for the month or an idea on how to mix the melts. I try to include something on there that they might go, oh, I didn't realise you could do that. So that's the thing I add to my emails. And it's interesting to see how many people open them, I think. That's when you see them. And also then how many of them then follow through and go and read the blog. So all of those sorts of things are good with the emails. But yeah, I just try and offer something little. It doesn't have to be a discount, but it could be a tips and a trick.
I love the idea, Kirsty, like we get your daily motivational emails, and I would think maybe something of value would be maybe once a week, just a very, very small email to your customers with a tip, like what Sue was saying, like how to, trimming the wick, or how to, when you first light your candle, to make sure it goes to the edges, or, and something like that. More shorter instead of a big blog thing, and a little bit more regularly.
When you think about what content to put in the email, I think what's interesting to remember is that we like stories. We love to feel connected to something bigger than ourselves. And I think for many of the candle makers that I speak with, they're on a mission, right? They're on a mission, whether it's a personal growth mission, whether they're wanting to support a charity, whether they're wanting to raise awareness for a cause that's close to their heart, weaving that story into the emails and also saying, yes, I sell these candles, yes, I sell these products. It connects the mission, the why, the journey with the sales, with the products, with the candles. And it helps your email subscribers get to know a little bit more about you and your business and why it's important to support your business over a Kmart candle or a Big W candle or something like that. So yes, I love what you've said, Gwyn, with having a weekly email in terms of having like tips and tricks on how to take care of your candle, how to get the most life out of it, and weaving stories in amongst that, or in addition to that, maybe alternating, tips and tricks, and then something to do with the story and the journey. But I think we've gone a bit too ahead of ourselves, because people are probably wondering, how do you even start an email list? What tech do you use? What software? Like, where does it all begin? How does it all start? And I think most people have heard of MailChimp. I was going to say nod your head, but obviously the listeners can't see.
Yeah.
MailChimp it's a popular software to use, but not one that I recommend. What I recommend to start off with is two, depending on what website you're with. So if you're with Shopify, I recommend Klaviyo, and I'll put links in the show notes for these platforms so that you can have a look to see which one might be more suited to your needs. But yes, Klaviyo is one, and MailerLite is the other one. Both of these offer free, I feel like I'm promoting them, but I'm just talking about them because I've used them and I enjoy them. Yeah, so both of them offer free services, like, up to 1,000 email subscribers and regular emails that you can send before having to, go behind the paywall. So yes, those are two software options that I recommend you start with, or at least have a look at. I think there are other ones out there. I think you use GoDaddy, Sue, and then obviously there's MailChimp as well. But the main thing, I guess the first thing to do rather, is to do a bit of research and see which platform, which software is going to suit your needs. And then you can look at all the integrations and all the tech behind the scenes. And it may seem a little scary, but honestly, there are programs that can help connect all the dots between your website and your email list. Then we can look at, setting up a pop-up, so that when people go to your website, they can see, oh, okay, I can get a discount on my first order or my next order if I pop my email into this pop-up, and then can join the list from there. So there's a few different things to consider. There's the starting the email list, the growing the email list, and then obviously the nurturing of the email list. But I have a question for all of you. How do we feel about unsubscribes? When someone unsubscribes from your list, what do you feel? What do you think? Does it matter to you? Tell me your thoughts.
Well, it's sad because you don't want to lose people, but like everything that I've heard, and it resonates, as if they unsubscribe, it's nothing personal. It's they're not going to purchase your product anyway, and you know what I mean? I unsubscribe all the time from different places and subscribe, so it's very fluid, the whole email list. Yeah.
And do you think if they unsubscribe, they might unsubscribe now because, okay, so for the next 3 months, 6 months, my budget is tight. I don't want to see Tracy's beautiful candles, but I'm going to resubscribe again just before Christmas time because then I want to know what's going on. So I think they can be coming and going because I unsubscribe as well because sometimes people bring me an email a day from like the local electrical shop, and I'm like, oh my God, if I want to buy something, I'll come and, sign up again. But so I think sometimes they come and they go.
It's funny how we can wrap up some people, not everyone, can wrap up their self-worth with the number of email subscribers they have. And when someone drops off their list, it's like, you take it personally because you're like, why? What have I done? Like, why? Should I have sent more? Should I have sent less? Should I have done a different subject line? Did I offend? You don't need to think or worry about any of that because, as you said, Tracy, at the end of the day, if they've unsubscribed, they weren't going to purchase from you anyway. And when you start to get a big list, you're actually paying per email that you send. It's a small amount, but if someone's just on your list and they're not actually going to purchase from you, it's better that they're not on your list, and then you don't have to worry about sending emails to them in the first place. So let's just circle back to a point that Gwyn made earlier is what do you send in your email once you've got someone on your list? When someone has said, yes, send me emails, keep sending me emails until I purchase or unsubscribe or keep purchasing and become a loyal raving fan, what sort of things do we think we would share in terms of our journey and our story? What do you each think that you could bring to the table in that regard?
Well, I know with mine, I share, obviously, if I have sales, that sort of thing, but also because of the association with dolphins, I do a lot of emails about different things to do with dolphins and dolphin research, what they're doing and that sort of thing. So it might be about candles, the next one might be about dolphins. Plus also I've had some tips off Wix, that's my platform that I use, and there's, emails you can do about people getting the most out of their delivery services and the costs of delivery and all that sort of thing can play a part, letting people know the things that we probably know, but some people don't. So, it's value for them.
That's right. Sometimes we can forget that what is common knowledge to us isn't common knowledge to everyone, especially when it comes to taking care of our candles. And, you can send your products with the care cards, you can do reels on social media, you can send emails on your list about how to take care of your candles, but that information doesn't always sink in, especially not the first or the sixth time. So when I said earlier about not having to reinvent the wheel, it very much is you can repurpose your content across the different platforms and you can reuse them, several months later or several emails later. You can then reintroduce the same topics because A, you'll have new people on your list who didn't receive that initial email where you shared that message, and B, it's a good reminder for those that are opening your emails to rehear those tips and tricks.
Mm-hmm. I think you can add things too, like a change of season, like our winter's coming, so let's burn something that's a little bit heavier and fills the room, not coconut and lime because that reminds me of a beach on a summer's day. Or then you can talk about Easter's coming, we've got bunny burp, Easter eggs, scented candles, Father's Day. There's so many things every season, every month that you can add without being salesy. Mother's Day. Sometimes for Mother's Day, I include a free recipe on how to make bath salts or, a nice chocolate cake recipe for Easter. So they're all things that you can add in as well.
I guess for me as well, if I've subscribed to any emails for people that are selling me things, like say I get a Thermomix, I'm on a Thermomix email, I love the personal aspect in it. So I love finding out, like this week she's just announced she's having another baby. And I just, without getting too personal and giving away too much family information and everything, I just love that personal touch that goes in there. So it connects you to them.
Point of difference too with all the emails we get, subscribe to. That sort of thing's a point of difference to make you read it or want to read it. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like you're reading the next chapter of a book that you've been enjoying for a little while. And when you can celebrate the good times with someone that you've purchased from previously or plan to purchase from, it helps, as you say, Gwen, to just keep that connection there, which is one of the big advantages we have over the big box stores, because we're a person in our small business, and we want to share that love and joy and passion with our customers and potential customers, and email is one vessel to do that. So let's have a chat about how do you promote getting people on your list. I hate the word getting people on your list. Like, it just sounds so like awkward or spammy, but the idea is that the reality is the more people you have on your email list and the more people that know of your business, the more likely you'll get sales. And that's obviously how our business grows. So we spoke about pop-ups before. That's one way to do it. And Sue, you had the market. At the market, you've got the sign-up list as well. But I think what's important is that you make it known that you're wanting to grow your list as well. So don't be shy in like promoting your list on social media. Like if you're doing a reel or just like an Instagram story, for example, you can say, join my list and receive a discount, or join my list and join your candle community, or phrase it in a way that is enticing for them to want to hand over their email in the first place. Usually a discount is going to be probably your first port of call, but there are other ways and other methods to try as well.
The other thing that can be good is if you're doing markets, is to have a gift pack, and people can put their name in to win the gift pack by subscribing.
Oh, that's a good idea. I know some of the makers do similar things, but I didn't know whether that was like a legal thing. They're meant to give permission. So I suppose because they're putting their name in there, they're giving you permission. Is that how it works?
Well, they're writing their email address on the entry form. That's legal permission.
You do that once a month or once every couple of months and boost your numbers on your list, and obviously get to give away some items as well, which is really kind. So in terms of utilizing tech and automations and ChatGPT and all the fun things that we can have set up behind the scenes and use to become more efficient in our business, one of the things I recommend is having a welcome sequence or a welcome flow, as well as automated emails in the background that are working behind the scenes, even if you're not working in the business. So for example, browse abandonment. If someone comes to your website, they've popped in their email and the pop-up and they just have a look at some different products but they don't actually add to cart, you can then send them an automatic email, an automated email to say, hey, we saw you looking at this product. Just let you know it's still available. We'll add it to your cart. Just click this button, for example. Then you can have abandoned cart flows.
I always get lots of, did you leave something behind?
Yes, that's the abandoned cart flow. So if you are adding something to cart, then you get distracted or you realize, the shipping's too much or whatever the reason, it will automatically send you an email, 12 hours later or 24 hours later. These are all things that you can have set up in the background so that that's working for you in your business, and it's targeting and retargeting people that have visited your website. Not so great for Sue since you don't sell online, but good to know for everyone else, being able to use those flows and sequences.
And I must admit, when I first started, one of the things I mucked around on MailChimp for a while, and it was just too complicated for me. They were talking about, like you're saying now, the emails to somebody that's just signed up, and then a follow-up email for this and a follow-up email for that. And it was just like, oh, my God, I can't even work out how to do this. So that was one of the things I liked with GoDaddy, was they just had, an email that you created and sent it. And Make More way I use it, it's just straightforward and I'm not having to do all the behind the scenes. So if somebody signs up, I can send them a personal, hey, thanks for signing up at the markets. It was really lovely to meet you. And that's a real email from me. I just struggle when there's all the ins and outs behind the front of MailChimp because it's just too complicated.
And that's the reason I do not like MailChimp, because it is confusing, it's clunky, it's not user-friendly. But the other ones I suggested earlier, very much, it's following the steps that they've pre-set up. And you put your logo here, you write a message here, you click set up there, and a lot more user-friendly. But it does take some time to set up initially, but once it's up and running, it runs away the background and helps your business grow. And for example, with my magnet business, there are people on my list that have been on there probably plus 6 months, and I'm now starting to get orders from them, because I wouldn't just say it's because of emails, but it is you're a constant reminder in their inbox. So the effect of having an email list and knowing that it will continue to grow and pay dividends, it is a long-term game, or it can be a long-term game, but it's part of your strategy. It's part of your business. It's not the only thing. It's just one of the tools in your toolbox. What I always recommend is to just start very simple, very like from the very beginning, just keep it simple. Keep a simple subject line, no emojis, because that can be filtered out into junk, and then just have text and maybe 1 or 2 pictures. You don't need to make it very design heavy because that can impact the loading speed. See what works, see what resonates. As you go along your journey with having emails, and I'm talking like, 1, 2, 3, 4 months and then beyond, then you can start looking at, okay, what percentage of people are opening versus non-opening, and look at that statistic. What percentage of people are clicking through to the website and what people are, and then look at that statistic and actually get curious about what your stats are telling you. The programs, like the software that you can use, will go into detail as to how, what you can improve on and what you can tweak and what you can change. But the idea is that it's not going to be send an email, get a sale from every person. It doesn't work like that. It does take time to build that relationship, that connection. And yes, there'll be unsubscribes along the way, but you'll get new people as well. So it is that very fluid numbers, as Tracy said before, but also to have fun with it and to explore and just have that curiosity when it comes to sending emails, growing your list, and having it as another tool in your toolbox, as I said.
Is there any way that you can stop those bots from hitting?
Yeah, so there's a couple of ways you can do it. The first is having the recapture form, those little images that pop up and you've got to choose. You can set those ones up, so that will filter out a lot of them. The other one, which is a little bit, some people love it, some people hate it, is that second email. So the email that you send automatically to say, did you mean to subscribe? Clicking this button so that you then will actually be subscribed. And if you don't click this button, then you won't be subscribed. So that will stop the bots because they won't click that button again. But it means people will have to go back to their email, like jump off your website, go to their email, click the subscribe, and then wait for the second email if they're expecting a discount. So again, try both ways, see what you have more success with, and obviously what feels right with you in your research. When it comes to email marketing, I don't want anyone to be scared or overwhelmed or feel like it's just too hard. I want you to see this as a valuable tool in your business, and it will help your business grow if you use it consistently. Being strategic with your business and choosing which tools to use will determine how your business grows and how quickly it grows. But email marketing, if you can do any research on just, what is email marketing? Why should I spend some time investing in learning it and then implementing it? And you'll see how incredibly powerful it is. As I said earlier, like in my email list, I've got people that have been on the list for months. You never hear from them. Like, you can see them opening your emails, but you're like, are they just opening and then clicking away? Are they actually reading? You keep doing what you need to do for your business to grow your business. You cannot control what other people are doing anyway, but being consistent across the different touch points that you choose to focus on in your business will yield results. You just don't know when.
Kirsty, is your emailing list or monthly love letter, is that something you can get somebody else to do? Is it a service you can pay other people to do?
Yeah. Oh, gosh, yeah. People have like full careers in email marketing. And
so how would you go about looking into that?
I personally would use ChatGPT to help me before I would invest in paying, like outsourcing, because ChatGPT can get to know you, your tone of voice, like how you approach different problems and topics and things. So I raise my hand. It's how I send 95% of my emails, is that I use AI to get me started, except the daily motivation ones. I'm proud to say that each of those are all from me and my heart, rather than text brain. But yeah, you can do research and find people that work in that field that can assist you. But obviously, there's going to be a huge cost involved with that. I would utilize your AI first, so use ChatGPT first, and you can literally just type in a question that says, "I'd like to send a nurture email to my candle business list. The topic is how to take care of your candles," and make it a 5-minute read, and it'll just go blah, 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 and then you'll have a blog post half done, or you'll have an email ready to go that you still want to tweak it. Well, you should tweak it. You shouldn't just trust whatever it spits out. But the idea is that that can be another tool in your tool belt to help you create emails on a regular basis. So for me, for example, with my magnet business, I send an email once a week. And with the Candle Business Coach business, I'm sending up to 3 emails a week. So depending on what day of the week it is and what tips you want to share and how you want to approach different topics in your business, you can set up a structure, set up a system, a routine, and make sure you're hitting that regularly. And whether that's once a month or once a fortnight or more or less frequently, it will become very valuable for you in your business. Well, my friends, thank you so much for coming on tonight's podcast episode. It is always such a joy to chat about different topics, and these Candlemaker Connections recordings are really great to share our knowledge and our expertise with the listeners. Thank you all for coming on tonight's podcast recording. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friend, for listening to this episode. Check out the show notes for all the links mentioned throughout the conversation, and please subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes.